All right. These are all my opinions on how to make the NBA better because I don't like it personally, and I hear a lot of people complaining all the time that it's not that good. Too many three-pointers, right? It's all I mean there are just so many three-pointers nowadays, and it gets there's no there's no like when somebody hits like a dagger three back several years ago, it used to be like amazing. Now you see one every night. Every single like every game winning shot is a dagger three. And like we've seen this 80 times this year. It's kind of lost its luster. Now, to me, the way to make really any sport, but we're gonna be sticking to the NBA basketball at this. The way to make any sport is to have as many teams be competitive as you can because that's that's way more exciting when you have only a handful of teams that can realistically win the championship. It's kind of like, well, why are we watching? They have no. This team's gonna. This team's got no chance to make a run. Um. So, and I was watching the NCAA championship game the other night, and UConn couldn't hit. They were like 0 of 11 from three or something. And they just kept hoisting them up because it kind of seems like, and I know it's not as simple as this, but it just kind of looks like they're like every team is basically, and I guess the analytics would say to do this. I don't know, which I don't see how they could because every team doesn't win. It kind of seems like they are just like, we're going to shoot as many threes, as many open threes, as we, not just like coming down and chucking them up, but we're going to shoot as many threes as we can. And like, that's what the analytics tell you to do. Well, the, the problem is every game looks the same when whoever's hitting them is going to win, and if a team isn't, then they're going to lose if they're not hitting threes. I mean, there's no. It's not like there's no other way to win. Like if your three pointers aren't going, they do something else to try to win because there is nothing else. They all live by the three, die by the three, and I think this just got really boring to like. It seems like I'm not the only one who thinks this. And then not only that, but when you had the Warriors in their heyday, it was like you couldn't you just couldn't beat them because somebody was going to be on. I mean, you would have to just hope, especially in a playoff series, like Curry and Thompson, especially Durant. One of those guys was going to be on. So so every other team basically had no chance. Um, Now, is that their fault? No. What do you do to fix it? In my opinion, and this sounds crazy, I would eliminate the 3-second rule, standing in the lane. Controversial? I don't know. I'm pretty sure the rule was created so that maybe specifically Wilt, but so that if guys like Wilt came along, that you couldn't just throw it down him, and because then it'd be really boring, right? There's no way to stop that. So it made sense when they originally introduced it, and maybe because they didn't want the lane crowded for rebounding. Would that happen? I don't think it would happen with three pointers because the rebounds go a lot further when they're shooting from further. So I think once they got introduced the 3 point line, they probably could have got rid of the 3-second rule, and that would really bring big guys back into the game. Now, the other thing, if you're going to keep the 3 second rule, I would say you can't stand outside of the 3 point line for more than 3 seconds. Why not? Uh, like, I guess people might think that's crazy, but like, okay, so you can't stand there for 3 seconds, but you can stand there for 3 seconds. Why? Why can't they say you can't stand out? You can't just stand there out at the 3 point line for 3 seconds. You gotta move in. That way, I think defenders, if the guy's standing out there, they can kind of leave him. Um, I would like to see how that works out. My dad actually mentioned how, and this is really crazy, and I don't even agree with it, but it is really interesting. It should be 3 points from in close and 2 from beyond the arc, because like, shouldn't you get rewarded for getting closer? Um, I'm not really in agreement with that one, but be interesting to say the least. I I like my idea. You can't stand outside of the 3 point line for 3 seconds. I mean, you can't back somebody down for 5 seconds. So I mean, I think it makes perfect sense. My next issue is that they have way too many playoff teams. I don't think you need. They have even more now. They have like 2/3 of the league makes the playoffs. Um, so it kind of goes into like, what's the point of the whole regular season then? The regular season would be a lot more exciting if only like should be like six. And I get it. You don't want teams off for like 2 weeks. So what I would do is I love the playing tournament idea, but I would have that between like the 5 and 6 seed, and then the other, or like the 5, 6, 7, however they do it, or like 4, 5, 6. I'd have 6 playoff teams in each conference. I mean, why do you need over half the league makes the playoffs, and now it's 2/3. Um, so that's that. Then guys would play. They'd be way. They'd have to play more regular season games. My next, and this is purely just because I love the look of the ball. Why don't they use the ABA ball on like Sundays? I think that would be so cool. And they could sell more basketballs. Like, it's good for everyone. That would be the coolest thing. And like, they already have the ridiculous courts and stuff like these. I think it just looks terrible, but all the, especially when they do the NBA Cup. I mean, it kind of looks cool, but it looks cool. It's something that I would love to play on in like a pickup game, but not in the NBA. So if you're gonna do all that, why not use the ABA ball, or at least for the All Star game? At least for the All Star game. Then like nobody's gonna watch the All Star game anyway. But at least for that. I mean, they only use it for the 3 point shooting. The dunk contest. Does anybody ever watch it anymore? I mean, and it's not really their fault. I mean, there's only so many dunks you can do. What they should do, and I think Dr. J mentioned this, was that you don't come up with your own dunk. They like spin the wheel, and then they're like, like you got to do that one, and maybe you only get like maybe you get 2 tries or something, or what they should do is they like, instead of having these guys pick their teams for the All-Star game, which nobody cares about, um why not have them like why not have like the guys like pick the dunk that they're gonna do or something, like their competitors, like, hey, you got to do the rump roaster or the bun toaster. Daryl Dawkins reference, my guy. Um, they should have, or either spin the wheel, draw it out of a hat. I don't know, but that's what they should do. They shouldn't be able to pick their own dunk. That would be so much better. Gosh, how else could you make it better? I think that's pretty much it. I'm sure I can come up with a lot more, but that's all I could that's all I could do for now. So, and I really hope that it does get to a point where it's watchable again. I wish because there's not really a lot of different ways to win. I mean, what players can't shoot three-pointers anymore that really have an impact on the game? I mean, I guess there are like defensive players. But you don't really have guys like Rondo anymore. I don't think. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you can definitely let me know if I'm wrong because I really don't watch the NBA anymore. I'm way more after coronavirus and they started putting all these old time games up from like I it's so much more fun to watch to me. And every team played different. I mean, there were three-point shooting teams back then. But there were also teams with big guys. There were teams like Detroit that was like defense and we spread out the scoring. The Western Conference was so much fun to watch from even though nobody could ever get past the Spurs or the Lakers except Dallas did it twice, but for like 15 years there were so many different teams. You had Utah would be playing with the pick and roll. Phoenix was the run and gun. Dallas with Dirk and you everything was built around him. Gosh, who else was there? Denver was a lot of fun to watch. Um, they were they were a gritty team. New Orleans for a while. They played beautiful basketball for uh, like a 4 or 5 year stretch. Um, you had Houston with especially when they had Yao Ming, who was it's a shame what happened with his career, but there were so many different teams, and now it seems like every team because there's only because you just have to be able to shoot threes to be able to keep up with the other teams that can shoot threes. So, and you're kind of better off just kind of pressing your luck, like, hey, maybe we'll hit 20 of them, 25 of them, or whatever, and it's like you got nothing to lose because you're not stopping them. I I'm kind of surprised that nobody's ever really tried this. I don't think to try to get like a big guy. I mean, it's easier said than done, but just revolve your whole like identity after trying to get a big guy that can dominate down low, and then get a bunch of guys that can play defense so that they can d up the 3 point shooters. I mean, I, I would say that's it's got as good a chance as any. Get guys who can defend them, and then get all your scoring from down low, which is consistent. I mean, I'd I'd like to see a team try that. Maybe there is a team try that's doing that, and let me know if there is, because I'm sure I'm not gonna be. I'm sure there's a lot that I'm missing, especially nowadays. Now there are certain players I do like watching this day and age. We might get to that one day. Gosh, I'm trying to think of who else. The Kings. Oh my God, they were a fun team to watch, and they should have won it in 2002. They got screwed. Um, Portland. Portland was. They were fun for a while, and there's just everything was different. every team was different, and it seemed like every that was kind of what made it. Even the teams that didn't have a chance to win it, they were still a lot of fun to watch because they didn't play just the same as everyone else. They weren't just trying to out 3 point shoot them. Um, Maybe I'm just old, and I sound like I'm longing for the days of past, but I think I don't even like. I loved 3 point shooting. I loved teams that were built around 3 point shooting, but I hate when every team is built like that. It seems like, and it's just too much. They don't. You can only see so 3 pointers are awesome when they're hit at specific times or a guy is just going crazy from three. But when it happens all the time, it's like, all right, we've another guy hit 10 of 19 threes. And so that's all I got for now. And anyone who's listening, thank you. Maybe we'll change the NBA together. See you next time.